Should I unzip my pants?
Okay, today's SOE Community Team Webcast, EverQuest Veil of Alaris Art and Lore is Rated Teen. EverQuest is a massively multiplayer online fantasy role-playing game and may contain blood and gore, suggestive themes, the use of alcohol, and violence. Online interactions are not rated by the ESRB. Our lawyers have asked me to share this with all of you. Hopefully we won't have too much violence or suggestive themes going on during this webcast.
However, alcohol there will be. I hope.
I won't make any promises. My name is Eric Piestro Cleaver. I'm the community manager for EverQuest. With me today, I have Alan Absor VanCouvering, assistant lead design for EverQuest.
Yep.
I have John Roy, the art lead for EverQuest. And I have Adam, I can never remember how to say it. Ngreth Bell. He is the design lead for EverQuest. And we're going to be talking about the art, lore, and setting for the Veil of Alaris expansion, due to be released in the nearish future.
Soon.
TM. So if you guys could tell me a little bit about yourselves, if we could start with you, Alan,
Sure, why not? I'm the old one. I started here over 10 years ago. It's almost 11 years now. Started in community, moved on to become a designer, and now I'm assistant lead designer. Mostly I do lore, content stuff, and Adam handles more of the system stuff.
Okay. And John, how about you?
Well, I've been at SOE since 1998, and worked on several other projects. Came on to EQ in 2004. Been here ever since, and like I said, as the art director, managed the team doing the environments as well as the character art.
And I'm Adam Ngreth Bell. I've been working on EverQuest since 2005. People knew me before for the website EQ Traders that my wife run.
But you take credit for it.
Not really.
Sorry.
I'm currently the lead designer for EverQuest. I've been doing systems in EverQuest for a while. And in charge of the overall vision for EverQuest right now. Vision,
TM. Okay, so let's start talking about the Veil of Alaris expansion. Now, the players will be journeying to a completely new continent, Alaris. It's been referenced on the Globe and Skyfire, but this is a brand new experience for players. What sort of environments will the players be interacting with? Can you tell us a little bit about sort of the setting for the expansion?
Well, I mean, it's the new continent. There's 2 cities, a city fortress, there's a temple, there's a strange forest, and a few dungeons scattered in there.
It's sort of an interesting mix between your more standard Ngrethian stuff plus this alien environment that has come along to creep its way into everything. It's had a long, long time to sort of build together. So alien life with, well, alien is not the right word, but you know what I mean, mixed with the Ngrethian stuff. It gives us some very interesting environments.
Oh. What was this challenge like for your team, John? I mean, there's such a variety of environments.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say is it wasn't as if there was one theme and look throughout all of the environments. There was actually, there's several different looks, from something sort of aquatic or seashell-like to the dungeons and then cities. So then we had areas where we were trying to hint at that kind of odd, kind of alien, not Norathian kind of look. So it was challenged that way to make sure it all came together.
That and the NPCs too. They have a lot of that mixed flavor too.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite zone? How it turned out? Something that just really particularly jumped out at you and said, "Wow, this looks so cool or different."
Yeah.
Choose between your children, sir.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's so hard to pick. If I had to pick one, maybe Resplendent, or the Splendor. The temple is just, and the outside facade is just gorgeous. I really like that one. So
that is certainly one I've been appreciating as well. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, which is most of you probably watching, Those of you outside the beta, it sort of opens up into this big panorama, and you see the temple, and it is really stunning looking. We'll be showing off a video of that one in the very near future, so keep an eye out for it. Okay, so starting off, what will the journey for to Alaris be like for players?
You're all looking at me.
That's your question.
I guess it is. It sort of starts with the end of the last expansion when Khazak Thul was killed in House of Thul. He gets basically completely destroyed. His power is stolen and disappears for a little while, which makes, of course, the Nrathian gods extremely nervous. They finally get a break and figure out where it is. Obviously it's behind a veil, hence Veil of Alaris. The veil is shattered when or at least they're able to see through it when one of their own power is taken there. There's a bit of an argument amongst the gods as to which one's going to, what they're going to do. Some of them rush off and do something immediately because that's the kind of people they are. Brel, however, decides that he's going to ask the heroes of Norath to go help them, which is sort of contrary to the way they normally work. Some of the other gods suggested that they might just say, let's tell them not to go there. That'll ensure that they go there. In this case, however, Brel just says, hey, well, I trust the gnomes to do the right thing, or at least something, and I'll just give them an assignment and they'll go do it. And then so that's the project that's happening right now, is the launch event where they're building the big airship. And that's the literal journey will be get on that floating ship and go there, but that's less exciting than all the stuff I just said, I hope.
So what are some of the themes, the larger stories that players will be interacting with throughout the course of the expansion?
That's the big one.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's, meeting these new people that have been here for a very long time, and also their gods, which are different than our gods, and how they're different.
Yeah, there's a lot. I have to say there's a whole lot of story buried in this expansion, which, frankly, I'd rather not just give away, because, frankly, to me, as a player, that's the reward for playing a game like this. Not true for everybody, I understand that. The development of Alaran gods was an interesting project for us as a design team too. So I'd love to see what people think of it when they figure it out.
Cool. Well, very, very good. So how about the inhabitants of Alaris? How are they going to react to this influx of adventurers from Norath?
Poorly.
Yeah, generally poorly, except for the city you land in.
Yeah, there's a civil war already going on, because what fun would it be if there wasn't? So the people who you meet first are way more friendly than the rest of the people that are trying to cause them trouble. Mostly, it's not very positive.
Okay. So something we'd referenced a little bit earlier in the webcast was this blending of the Norathian and the other. In terms of inhabitants. How did the art team approach, creating things that were a mix of what is Norathian and the Alaran?
Yeah, it was kind of tricky. We came up with a look that was, wasn't alien in a sci-fi kind of way. It's just different. The body proportions are a little different from a lot of the biped characters that you've seen in EQ so far. And there's a lot of variety on them. I'm actually really excited for all of you to see them and see what you think. Put a lot of work into them, and I think there's a lot of interesting detail. But I think that's the biggest thing, is they're just a little bit different proportions and features, things like that, without
Colors too.
giving it all away. Yeah, a lot of slightly different colors and variations.
I say that usually I find it amusing to try to give something to John and make him scream and panic about it. I like challenging the artists, and they always do a fantastic job of just way exceeding my expectations. So,
and they have some very alien-looking animals that were brought from where these other people are from, Alaris, and also some Norathian animals that had started to evolve differently, being around them.
The appearances of the inhabitants has really impressed me. My personal favorite is the Swintar, which are a pig people. I like them quite a bit. They just scream like fun guys to hang out with to me. Mm-hmm. But are there any other really interesting groups you want to talk about or feel comfortable sharing about?
Well, the Alarans themselves are pretty
Yeah,
amazing,
that's
but
what I was going to say.
I think we've been talking about them for a while. It's got to be...
The Gremlin's kind of cool, you know, it's
Yeah.
more of a, what do you want to say, not dog-like, but it's, you know, quadruped and kind of scary. It's got some really cool different variations in colors per different kind, and it's just creepy looking, so I like that one.
That's one for all of you out there to keep an eye out for. How about notable NPCs? Are there any big personalities in the expansion?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest personalities in the expansion are these other gods that you need to work with, or
against.
Work against, with or against. They're the main personalities, and then, of course, there's the leaders of some of the various cities that we mentioned.
Yeah, each of the gods has a lot of background. I think people will find the lore behind them pretty interesting. I hope they will. At the same time, each of the personalities of those gods makes the encounters with them very entertaining, I think.
Cool. Okay, so switching subject from Alaris, I'd like to talk a little bit about guild halls, because...
Do you have time for a question?
We can make some time for a question.
Is there any information on the pre-order yet?
I will be getting to that towards the end of the webcast. That is certainly something that's very much on people's minds. Okay. But back to guild halls. So guild halls are a big addition. They're going to be a big visual part of the expansion. What were the design goals for creating guild halls? How do you see the players using guild halls?
I mean, the design goal was originally, for one, to give them more freedom with control over their guilds, which they'll see right away. There's a lot more options for them, including more ranks, the ability to rename your ranks. And then on top of that, we wanted to extend the neighborhood system into guild halls so people could decorate their own space. People have been asking for merchants for this, or their own trade skill containers. This allows you to design the space as you like. And we wanted to make sure the basic guild hall you have now will be available to everybody. Everybody who buys the expansion can take one of those and place them in the neighborhood. And from that neighborhood, you know, they can decorate around it. They can decorate inside that new guild hall. And then we decided we wanted to give you some larger guild hall options.
Okay. Could you describe the different guild halls for us a little bit, John?
Yeah, well, there's basically three. Like Adam said, there's the standard, now has an existing exterior. Then we made two more. One's a little bigger, one's really big, that's almost palatial. And they're just gorgeous inside, you know, very regal, majestic. So I think it fits with the whole idea of a group, a community, a guild, and that type of feel. There's plenty of room to decorate inside. That's one thing we were very mindful of. So we wanted to give you guys plenty of room and not, make alcoves and nooks that don't, make decorating as easy to do. So hopefully that'll be something you enjoy.
We've even had some comments from beta players that it's too big.
Oh, really? Oh, darn. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. What strikes me as interesting is you're creating a space, but unlike the majority of spaces you create, this is a space specifically for players to personalize and make their own. That's a different type of challenge than you normally face. Were there any, how did you approach it? Was it iterative, or did you draw it out first?
Yeah, definitely. We always concept and, visually design and lay out what we want to do. And then it is a different kind of challenge for sure, because you don't, sometimes it almost feels empty because as an artist you want to make sure every little viewpoint is interesting and has some detail. But that's what, you guys, the players, are going to do is fill that in for you. So we kind of had to rethink and pull back how we do that. It's very similar to how player housing is. We don't want to clutter it up for you. So.
Right, you have to make sure the walls are bare,
Right.
basically bare, which seems unusual because usually you always see something on all the walls or something. But here they're bare, so you can decorate it instead of us.
It also seems easy, but building a bare wall and making it look good is actually harder than it seems.
Yeah, in some ways it's that's the challenge. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly a challenge I think you guys have done very well with. Hopefully we'll be able to get some pictures and show off a little bit more about what people who are playing in Veil of Alaris will be able to do with guild halls in the very near future. Now, on yet another art-related topic, we recently released a whole bunch of Pegasi for players. I have to say, you guys have done some very, very exciting work. I love the Dreadmare myself. It has bat-like wings. Well, I know we can't talk about details. You're comfortable saying we're working on a few more?
Yeah, we have some other ideas in mind. I think with this new, process of that brought on the Pegasus, we're hopefully going to be able to do some other mounts in the near future, and just keep giving you more really neat stuff like that to have. So, yeah.
Awesome.
And just wait for the December. The Pegasus we're releasing in December is gorgeous.
That's right. You haven't seen them all. There's more to come.
Very, very cool. Okay, now, obviously, we did get a question about pre-orders, and this is probably the number one thing I get asked about. Every time I go into game, every time I go in the forums, it's, hey, about those pre-orders. When are we going to have those pre-orders yet? It's probably second only to, hey, so what's the date it's going to be releasing? Now, I can't really say anything about the date we're going to be releasing yet. Hopefully we'll have that information to you very soon. But I can tell you that we will have the pre-order ready to go next week, and you'll be all able to check that out. So we're getting close. We're getting to the final stretch here, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'd like to invite all of you, if you have any questions, anything you'd like to ask these gentlemen up here, especially anything that relates to lore or art for Veil of Alaris, go ahead and start shooting. I do recommend you don't ask questions of Alan. He loves to say no. Just kidding.
It's the only word I use.
Oh, he gets off easy.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Bring it on.
Okay, so we'll give you guys a few seconds to keep typing. Alan, what was your favorite part of the lore to work on? Histories of the Gods?
Yes, absolutely. There's nothing more interesting to me than sort of starting with a fresh palette, especially in the case where we get to be literally comparing it to something that already exists. We spend a lot of time iterating over silly things like, I wanted to have a story for every single god. Especially the Alaran gods, their background is actually more important. The Ngrethian gods just sort of appear out of Planes of Power. Their backstories are not very exciting. These guys, really, I'm sorry, don't laugh at me. It's just true. But these guys were way more interesting to deal with. All that backstory is, and because we did all that work, we're making a lot of effort to make sure you guys, not him, get to see it. So it will be in game.
You heard it here. I'm banned from Veil of Alaris.
No, you just don't get to know anything about it. To make up stuff.
Okay. So, Robin, has anybody gotten any interesting questions for us?
Kakano would like to know, is this story going to expand, or is it just solid to this expansion?
That's an interesting question.
We do have some plans to continue it past this expansion.
That's a little too far in the future for us to talk too much about. But
they're still rough plans. So,
but yes, definitely. Fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of EQ lore is open-ended on purpose. Whether you like that or not, it's generally useful in a video game like ours to have places to pick up from. So there's definitely tendrils of story remaining at the end of this.
A good story never really dies.
Hopefully.
I keep saying that about Mayon.
Yeah.
So
Stop saying that.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. This has been a production of the Sony Online Entertainment community team. I'd like to thank our guests. Thanks for taking some time
prisoners,
out.
Whatever.
Hey, whatever you want to call it.
this was like time off now.
Yeah, really.
Okay, so I'm going to rush them back to get back to work on Veil of Alaris, but thanks all, and have a good afternoon.
Bye. uncomfortable